How's it going? My name is Jumpy. Today I'm going to be discussing the movie The Game, which, like Seven, I also mentioned a couple times in my Saw retrospective. The Game was released in 1997 and is director David Fincher's follow-up to Seven. And this time around we finally have a defined setting. This one actually takes place in San Francisco. The movie follows Nicholas Van Orton, played by Michael Douglas. He's a very rich, divorced man who deals with finances. On his 48th birthday, he meets with his brother Conrad, played by Sean Penn from Carlito's Way, who he hasn't seen in a while. Conrad tells Nicholas about a company called CRS, which stands for Consumer Recreation Services. He says it's fun and that it helped him improve his life, and he wants the same for his brother. The next day, Nicholas goes to an office building for a business meeting. Afterwards, he sees a giant display advertising the opening of a CRS office on that building's 14th floor. He walks in and meets with Jim Feingold, played by James Rebhorn, who is also in Carlito's Way. Jim explains what's going on in incredibly vague terms and says that CRS makes an individualized game for each of its customers to help them get whatever it is they're missing. Then Nicholas takes a series of tests, written, verbal, and physical. These scenes are wonderfully done and the mystery is set up very well. It's compelling and makes you want to learn the point of the game. It can start at any time, and Nicholas needs to figure out why he's playing. Much like Seven, The Game is just a great-looking movie, and it has some humor throughout. Nicholas is kind of an asshole, but he's still likable because it's Michael Douglas in the role. It's a character I like following around even if I wouldn't want to hang out with someone like this in person. One of my favorite scenes is when Nicholas finds a wooden clown and then brings it inside his house. At first he's more aware of the world around him, not knowing who's part of the game. Then eventually when things start getting more serious and spiraling out of control, that turns into paranoia. Another excellent sequence, and probably the best part of the movie, is when Nicholas first teams up with a waitress named Christine, played by Deborah Kara Unger. They end up in an office building and it's funny and thrilling, and they play off each other fantastically. The movie overall definitely takes some Hitchcock influence, and movies like The 39 Steps, The Lady Vanishes, and North by Northwest. But it's very evident in the scenes with Nicholas and Christine, and just in general, where it's an everyday person getting wrapped up in an outlandish situation. I really like how the movie keeps you in the dark about where it's going, and it takes a lot of twists. Sometimes it gets a little silly, but I was always on board. It's a very entertaining movie. But I do need to talk a little bit about the ending. I don't want to do a spoiler section, so I'll keep this vague like the description of the game itself. I have a specific problem with the end. I like it overall and how things play out, and I'm willing to suspend disbelief for what happens physically, just not for all of the psychological aspects of it. Something is going to leave a lasting emotional impact, and I feel like the movie brushes over that a little too much. And this is just a small gripe. And fuck, this is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen, so it doesn't really bring it down much. But yes, obviously I'm giving the game a 10 out of 10. It's not perfect, but I don't reserve that rating for films without flaws. Much like Seven, the game is still incredibly enjoyable on a rewatch when you know all of the twists it's going to take. It's thrilling, has a compelling mystery, is well acted, is funny at times, and has great cinematography. I do have a qualm with the ending, but it doesn't hurt the movie overall for me. I plan on covering more David Fincher movies in the future, so be on the lookout for those reviews. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.